The words tumbled out of my mouth faster than I expected, wrapped in laughter and the music of the party, meant to feel playful rather than dangerous. I lifted my glass and said jokingly that if he beat my husband at the game, I'd kiss him. Laughter erupted around the room. I laughed, too. My husband did not. The energy in the room was electric, full of whistles, teasing, and excitement, but around him I sensed a strange stillness. I told myself it was harmless, just words hanging in the air, nothing serious. The man I joked with smiled confidently, soaking in the attention. My husband's face remained unreadable, tense, like he was bracing for something he knew might come. I didn't realize that jokes could act as invitations, that certain boundaries, once crossed, could never be repaired. In that moment, the applause felt more important than loyalty. I didn't see how quickly humor can twist into exposure, or how laughter can harden into cruelty. Permanent, impossible to take back. Before that night, our marriage wasn't shattered. But it wasn't strong either. Comfort had replaced passion. Predictability had replaced adventure. I missed feeling desired. I missed excitement. When someone else offered attention, I inhaled it like air, failing to notice the warning signs. My husband trusted me completely, and I mistook that trust for boredom. The man at the party had always flirted lightly, innocently, or so I convinced myself. I enjoyed the spark without admitting what it meant. The joke wasn't spontaneous. It was permission disguised as humor. I pretended that words couldn't hurt if everyone laughed. I ignored the stiffening in my husband's posture, the way his eyes searched mine for reassurance I never gave. Romance doesn't vanish suddenly. It fades slowly, replaced by validation, not commitment. That night didn't create distance. It exposed how far apart we had already drifted. Standing side by side, smiling for entirely different reasons. The game ended quickly. My husband lost. The room roared with cheers, urging me forward, chanting my name, demanding I honor the joke. I paused only a second, but that second changed everything. As I leaned in, the laughter turned to shock. Someone gasped. Phones were lowered. The kiss didn't happen because my husband spoke first, calm but cutting. He asked with quiet clarity if I planned to explain the private messages too. Silence slammed into the room. My heart pounded as amusement morphed into confusion. The man I joked would step back, suddenly unsure. My husband continued, naming secrets I didn't think he knew. Late-night texts, private meetings, deleted conversations. Each revelation peeled something away from me. I wanted to speak, to justify, to soften the damage, but truth doesn't pause for excuses. By the time he finished, the joke was dead. The room was frozen. Everyone finally saw the cost of laughter without respect. Nobody laughed. The party disintegrated into whispers, shame, and awkward distances. I felt exposed, smaller than I'd ever been, surrounded by eyes that avoided mine. My husband didn't yell. He didn't storm the room. He stood, heartbreakingly composed. He looked at me once, deeply, memorizing a mistake he'd never repeat. I expected anger, tears, confrontation. His silence terrified me more. It carried more weight than accusations. I realized I wasn't embarrassed because my secrets were out. I was embarrassed because they were true. Romance, once intimate and sacred, had turned into spectacle and humiliation. I opened my mouth to speak, but nothing sounded sincere. My husband stepped aside, not blocking me, not begging me to stay. In that instant, I understood he wasn't losing control. He was letting go completely. I walked away because staying meant facing consequences I wasn't ready to bear. The hallway seemed endless and eerily quiet compared to the chaos I left behind. My phone buzzed immediately. Texts from friends, disbelief, judgment. I ignored them all. Outside, the night air hit me cold, sobering me instantly. I replayed the joke over and over, seeing how casually I had traded dignity for attention. I wanted to blame alcohol, misinterpretation, humor, anything but myself. But excuses crumble when truth stands revealed. For the first time, I saw my husband not as predictable or boring, but as someone I had deeply underestimated. He hadn't frozen because he was weak. He froze because something inside him broke quietly, completely. Walking away didn't feel empowering. It felt empty. Thrill without respect leaves only regret. I didn't leave victorious. I left because I'd already lost everything worth protecting. Days turned into weeks. My husband didn't call or text. That absence hurt more than anger ever could. Mutual friends stopped inviting me out. Conversations became polite but distant. The man from the party vanished completely, unwilling to face consequences. Alone, I confronted myself. I saw clearly how easily I had dismissed my husband's feelings, how often I mistook confidence for cruelty. Love isn't thrilling when it's safe, but safety is what keeps love alive. I replayed memories, realizing how many times my husband had defended me publicly while I undermined him privately. Regret settled heavily. I wanted forgiveness without accountability, reconciliation without discomfort. Healing doesn't work that way. I wasn't missing the marriage anymore. I was missing the version of myself that hadn't turned loyalty into a joke. Growth came painfully, shaped by silence, self-awareness, and understanding that some mistakes don't break things instantly. They echo forever. Months later, I learned it moved on quietly, respectfully. No drama, no announcements. That knowledge stung, but was fair. That night didn't end my marriage. It revealed who I chose to be when attention tempted me. The joke wasn't harmless. It was honest. Honest about my priorities, immaturity, and willingness to humiliate the person who loved me most. I thought I was escaping discomfort, but instead, I walked straight into accountability. My husband stayed frozen that night because he saw me completely, clearly. I live with that clarity now. The room went silent because truth arrived uninvited. Romance without respect collapses quickly. Love without protection dies publicly. If I could rewrite that night, I would choose silence over laughter. But lessons don't ask permission. They arrive loudly, leave scars, and stay forever. That ending, raw, irreversible, unforgettable, is a cause of turning loyalty into entertainment.